All right, so we're going to take a look at number 7. And so number 7 says, base your answers to the following questions on the photographs and the news article below. So when you have a question with reading, one of the first things that you want to do first is to just read the question first, all right? Because that way, when you read the question first, you can then look at the reading to see exactly what piece of information that that you need from the reading and what's just some information that you can use from outside knowledge. Now, with earth science, sometimes they'll provide reading passages that may not benefit so much the question or just giving background information that you know yourself. So when I'm looking, the granite bedrock formed when? So I'm looking at the word granite, and I already know that's an igneous rock. In preparation for your exam, you do want to make sure that anytime a rock is given, is to first identify what type of rock it is using page 6 or page 7. So I see that the granite bedrock formed when, all right, because I'm dealing with the igneous rock, I know that sediments were buried is not going to be a choice, and limestone recrystallized is not going to be a choice because page 6 lets me know that in order for igneous rocks to be created, it has to go through melting and solidification, right? There's melting and there's cooling. And we know that igneous rocks can either come from a volcano, right? Or it can be magma that's cooled underground. How do I know which one it is? So when I look at granite and I look at the chart, I see that granite is an intrusive rock. Why is that important? The environment of formation, why is that important? It's important because of the fact that intrusive means that it was created inside of the earth. So therefore, my answer has to be choice 3, magma cooled underground. All right. Number 8. So number 8 says basic answers the following question on the block diagram below, which shows a portion of Earth's crust. Letters A, B, C, and D indicate sedimentary layers. It says the igneous rock is mostly composed of potassium feldspar and quartz crystals that has an average grain size of 3 millimeters. The igneous rock is most likely what? So when I take a look, and let me just zoom in a little bit more. When I take a look, one of the things that I notice is they give us a grain size of 3 millimeters. That lets me know that when I look on my chart, I'm looking at the crystal size and I see that 3 millimeters has to fit in which category? The one that says between 1 millimeter to 10 millimeter. So I know that it has to be a rock within this category right here. So it could be dunite, it could be peritite, it could be gabbro, it could be diorite, and it could be granite, right? One of these 5. Then it also says that the rock is composed mostly of potassium feldspar and quartz. When I look at this diagram, one of the things that I see automatically, potassium feldspar and quartz are more on the left side, right? Potassium feldspar and quartz, I see right here. So that means it has to be on the left side. And when I simplify, the only rock that's left standing is granite. And that's why the correct answer is choice 1. For number 9, they give us a graph that shows the relationship between the cooling time of magma and the size of the crystals produced. Which graph correctly shows the relative positions of the igneous rock granite, rhyolite, and pumice? So I'm going to take a look. I see granite, rhyolite, and pumice. So when I look on page 6 of the reference tables, I see granite. Oop, here you go. I see granite, I see rhyolite, and I see pumice. All right. And one of the things that we know already, if it's an intrusive rock, it cools slow, right? So that means that my cooling time is going to be very long. If it's an extrusive rock, my cooling time is going to be quick. So automatically, I know I have to pick a choice where granite has to be the one that has the longest cooling time because it's an intrusive rock. When I take a look, the only one that shows that granite has the longest time is choice 1. The other way that you can check is if you look on the graph, it says size of crystals, right? So that can also help me determine which rock has the highest crystals. When I take a look for crystal size, right? Remember, coarse means that the crystal size is very big. So granite has the biggest, right? Then it goes to fine, which is rhyolite, that has the second biggest. And then when you get to pumice, it's non-crystals at all. So there's no crystals at all. So that also lets me know that granite has to be the highest, rhyolite has to be the second highest, pumice has to be the third highest. And so when I take a look, the only choice that has where it has the longest cooling time and granite has the highest crystals is choice 1. All right. Granite is an intrusive rock. It takes the longest to cool, but it has the biggest amount of crystals. So, one relationship that you can see is that the bigger the crystal size, the longer it takes to cool, right? We want to make sure that those crystals are fully cooked and grown. It has to take a long time for it to cool.